Hello and welcome to the first lecture of the course Intercultural Communication. And it's my pleasure to present the first speaker, Alexander Prunkevich, the author of the course and the coordinator of the course Intercultural Communication. He's the dean of the Department of Philology in Ukrainian Catholic University, and he's also president of the Association of Hispanists of Ukraine, and also member of Fulbright Academic Exchange Program alumni and International Association of Hispanists. He's author of more than 160 papers and 9 books, and today we have pleasure to have him with the first introductory lecture to the course Intercultural Communication. Please, Alexander, the floor is yours, and I will start.
Thank you very much. I'm glad, I'm happy to start this wonderful course, and I will appreciate it very much if our dear students speak, answer questions, comment, and because we need interaction. And I have been teaching this course for a couple of years at the Ukrainian Catholic University, and as Professor Mazalevska has informed you, my original field of study is Spanish literature, but I decided to dedicate my time and my effort to the course because I'm really involved in intercultural communication as university administrator and as a scholar. And I speak Spanish and English and Ukrainian and some other languages, and I have been deeply involved in constructing programs of cooperation, and this course in many senses reflects my experiences. And we will see if the presentation works. Okay, Alina, please, could you go to the next slide? We will see, yeah. And we will start with definition of culture, and there are many of them. And maybe we can ask our dear students to suggest their definitions of culture. What is culture? Because we will work with this first concept, intercultural communication. Okay, I mean the definition of the whole course, and we will speak about each element of this definition. That means culture, then intercultural, and then communication. Every element will be considered, and we start with the definition of culture. Please, if you have some ideas of what culture is, please raise your hand and say something. What is culture?
May I answer your question?
Yeah, of course, but
in my opinion, it's a set of material and maybe spiritual values of people.
Good. So, other ideas?
Yeah, maybe it's a set of characteristics that helps to define one group of people from another.
Okay, good. Other ideas? It's interesting that you do not mention one of the most definitions of culture in our world. That is something excellent and something beautiful. Okay, good. Diana, your idea.
Yeah, I think that culture refers to the shared beliefs, values, maybe behaviors and practices that characterize a special group of society.
Excellent. Society, it's interesting, but I think group and society, groups and societies, you see, we will see how we will define culture. Okay, maybe one more
There
idea.
there was also Roman. Roman raised his hand but then disappeared. Roman?
Yeah, I'm here. I just half of my idea was already mentioned, but perhaps I can append that including all the mentioned properties and those we use as culture properties to cope with the world and with one another.
Interesting. Okay, thank you. And Alina, maybe you can help me because you see you can control students and you see. Okay, please take a look at this this picture and first find the words which have been already mentioned. You see, you said values. Then you said groups. Okay, maybe other things, but you see, we have a lot of things. Maybe you can read what is written and say how it works when we define culture. Okay, but what are the most interesting? What is the most interesting word? What is the most unusual word? The word which you never thought as the word which is associated with culture, please. Yeah, we mentioned the word beliefs. Okay, good.
Stepan?
Yes. Stepan, okay.
No, good. Stepan, sorry, it's not a hand. He just wanted to come in. But those who want to jump in, just raise your hand and I will name you. We can start with the words that were already mentioned.
I like this word, attitudes. What is attitude?
It's the way somebody is reacting to something.
This is good. This is good. And you see, it's also it is also considered as part of culture. And I like this word, transmitted. Transmitted. It's one of the most important concepts for me, because my definition of culture is something constructed and something transmitted. But the word transmitted is important because we are working with intercultural communication. Yeah, other things. I like this word. Can you read it? Who can read it? You see my arrow. What is written?
I think that we cannot see your arrow.
Ah, okay, good.
If you want, I can just name the people in the room and we can ask them.
No, I want them to join our discussion, but I think here just we have great letters culture, but then groups and then smaller yellow, it is human. I think culture is something what human beings produce, you see, other things. Okay, maybe other what you see the word acquired. What does it mean, acquired? Any ideas? Acquired.
Olena?
Maybe it means like it was developed with time, historically oriented, maybe.
Great. Or learned, yeah, maybe, or something which is taught. Yeah, this is something, yeah. By the way, if we can see here men, you mean like male creatures and female creatures, and then you can individuals, you can see here a lot of things, just that's disconnected because we can speak about individual culture, group culture, culture in the dimension of division human beings to male and female, and we can speak about culture in terms of age. You see, and by the way, all those things are can be described as intercultural communication. If my idea about culture is that we start with individuals, because every individual has his or her culture, then groups, and then maybe society, then maybe state, then maybe civilizations as European, and so this is all culture. And we can go to the next slide, and we will please yeah we can read the textbook, and we can read some other definitions. Just that's popular. Culture is unique human efforts, is different from nature and biology. That's what we saw. Human, not biologically constructed. Culture is not something spontaneous, and is not something which is produced by climate or other things, you see. Or culture is a refinement, mannerism. This definition was not mentioned today. That means culture is something elaborate. It's a product of sophisticated activities of creation, and we say, okay, this person is a person of culture. That means this person has good manners, can control herself or himself. Or sometimes we can read that culture is a synonym for civilization. It's often used to say, okay, in our culture, we do like this, or in our culture, we do like that. But it does not, okay. It means that we look upon ourselves as a certain lifestyle, maybe, and it is different from backward barbaric people. You see, again, very often we can find definitions of culture in kind of in terms of opposition, something good, elaborate, not elaborate. So culture, shared language, beliefs, values, again, as different from language, beliefs, and values that are not shared. You see, this linguistic element is very, very important. By the way, my course was developed for students who study philology, and then culture is something dominant. We will speak later about culture in terms of power, hegemonic, something which is considered, some type of cultures considered more important. Other types of cultures are considered less important. I do not accept this viewpoint, but in reality, we cannot speak about equality of cultures, or culture that shifting tensions between the shared and unshared. I think you understand it. You see, shifting tension between the shared and unshared, some values, some beliefs, some ideas we share, or some we do not share. And again, it's in this case, it functions as a factor of differentiation. You see, it's a very, very complex thing, and maybe we can come to the next slide, And
yeah, I'm sorry. There is a comment in the chat
okay.
from Volodymyr about these definitions, and the comment says in the primary society people adapted to nature, but in modern one we adjust nature to our needs.
Yeah, it's a very, very interesting statement, and I can agree with you. But in this particular case, you know, I would like to say that your approach towards culture is maybe limited, and it shows us only one aspect of what culture is. Okay, but I appreciate it very much, your comments and your ideas. If you want to say something, you just raise your hand and Alina will let me know, because we need discussion. Let us go to the next slide. And the definition of culture which we will use, or I hope that other professors who will teach you, they will use this definition, because I hope most of us, we belong to the group of scholars who study, who are involved in cultural studies. And cultural studies, I will speak about it later, but actually it uses the anthropological and constructivist approach. That means we look upon culture as symbolic representations, as we study and it in literature, in arts, and political economy, and other areas of knowledge. Okay, so symbolic representations which are created in the process of realization of all life practices. Yeah, for me it's very important, because every step which we make, everything which we produce, every type of behavior, every type of I don't know, reaction is codified in some way, and it is culture. You see, I like this approach because it does not say, okay, culture is something high or culture is something low. Yeah, and then it includes all types of life practices. You know, when we meet other people, or just eat, or just sit, or just sleep, you know, it can be different in different cultures, you see, because when I was at the Museum of Rembrandt, you know, in Amsterdam, I was surprised that in his time, yeah, people used to sleep sitting. Yeah, they were not like us today. Yeah, and it is culturally dependent, you see. Then culture is socially constructed. That means it can be constructed, reconstructed, deconstructed, it can be changed, it can be learned, it can be, it is always group related, and it's about values, and it is about codes of behavior. It's about lifestyles, actually. And then culture is a tool of constructing beliefs, values. It's you see, it's a tool. It's maybe my approach a little bit instrumentalist, and then and hegemonious and dynamic process of constructing. You see that I would say that my approach is too much constructivist, and that's important. I think at this moment, is everything clear? Maybe you have questions, remarks, ideas. If you disagree, if you do not understand something, please let me know now, because we will go further. Lena, if you want to participate in the discussion, you also, well, you are
Just,
also
I
welcome.
think that this, it's important to make this point that it's culture, it's not only something material. As we've seen from this definition, it's very often something that we cannot touch. It exists in even bodily practices, as you said, the way of sleeping, the way of communicating, or rituals. Also, it wasn't here, but rituals that we practice daily, it's also a part of culture, and it's very important for the future lectures. I think this key idea of seeing it more than just materials, objects produced by societies. Yeah, I think it's very important.
For me, for example, I start analyzing culture by asking the question, what is the value of life and death in a certain culture? You see, it depends our communication. Okay, so you see this definition, and then now we can go to the next slide. And please, you can see here illustrations. You see of what we have done. You see here, you will get this video recorded. You can play it, but you can see here we have religion, we have other things, behavior, other things, and so on. It's organized as flower, by the way. Again, culturally constructed image, because we think that flower is something beautiful. It's a product of very, very hard work, and so on and so forth. Again, here you have another type of diagram, core, and then some circles, some rings, and then but you see, in both cases, we use this symbolic model of something round, which means harmony, which means integration. You see, and by the way, this vision of culture is also culturally constructed. And I ask you not to believe any word of my presentation and criticize it and look upon it critically. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, the next question, what is intercultural communication? You see, I took the word intercultural into brackets, but if you look at this picture, can you say what is going on in the picture?
Sorry, there is a question in the chat. I think Volodymyr cannot use the function raising hand. So the question, so maybe something is missing. Can we say, I think, that culture is dominant paradigm in proper terminology? So can it be seen as dominant paradigm?
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yes,
maybe
can we say that
take...
culture is dominant paradigm in Karl Popper's terminology?
I think you speak about this very particular theory, but I would say yes, because culture is not only a dominant paradigm in Karl Popper's theories, but in many other theories. For example, it's a dominant paradigm for me, for many other scholars. If we speak about cultural studies approach, yes, of course, we think about culture as something which defines our behavior, and that means it's a cultural paradigm. Okay, Vladimir, can you tell us what is going on in the picture?
I think it's like some sort of interaction between people.
Is it interaction or communication?
Maybe communication is more right word.
Okay, and Can you, maybe other ideas, you see, how many people are involved in the process of communication? What is going
6
on?
or 7,
Olena.
maybe, I don't know.
Okay, good.
It should be
also
at least
Mhm.
should be at least 2 people to start a communication, and the people in the picture rather intersect. It also depends about the goals. If the one have the goals, then he starts to communicate, and in order to get himself to that goal, he need to be understood, and that's where the communication usually lies.
When we can see a man, maybe, and a woman. Do you agree? What are they speaking
Yes.
about? Are they speaking about love? Can they be speaking about love? We don't know, but at least when they look at each other, you see, this is interesting, the way they are speaking. You know, it's a face-to-face interaction, actually, and we can interpret the shades here. You see, we don't know whether there are other people involved and so on and so forth, you see, but it's a good idea. You say that it takes 2 persons, and even if a certain man or certain woman speak to himself or to herself, that means that they look upon themselves as, or he or she looks upon himself or herself as at least 2 persons, you see, because we need this. Let's continue, okay? Because let's go to the next slide, and I'm going to show you very old picture. This picture had been produced before I was born, you know, and it's the famous communicative act scheme. It was invented by Roman Jakobson, and this model of communicative act, and I like it because it describes communication and all other elements which will be involved in our course. You see, he says, okay, we have someone who wants to say something, to communicate something, and he calls this I don't know, person, society, group of people, a dresser, you know, someone who does something. Okay, we use this er suffix, a dresser, and addressee, you know, from one person or one group of people to the other, you see, and you can see here, and then this is the process of communication. That's what we have seen in the picture. And then we have other things that we have to take into account when we speak about communication. You see here we have context and we have message. Message, and maybe then context, because message is something what is spoken, what is communicated, you see, but we never can understand the message if we do not take into account context. You see, context is maybe some particular situation, some knowledge we have to know, about the, for example, the addressee, because we send a message, and if we do not know many things, our message is not received, or our message is not understood, or our message is not interpreted in the way. If we ignore context. And here below we have two more basic concepts. This is the contact, and that means different types of contact. It can be, if we speak about oral communication, yeah, for example, like face-to-face contact, or we can hear someone but do not see the face, or we can get the message in the written form, or we can have but in any case, yeah, we need to contact each other, you see, because without contact we cannot do it. And then the last and very important thing, which has been mentioned already today, it is code. It is how the message is constructed. That means what elements, verbal elements, what non-verbal elements, what kind of signs, you see, they can be iconic, it can be visual, what different things, you see, are involved in constructing the message, you see. And what happens in this case, the addressee decodes so they are in contact, and then the addressee decodes the message, and in order to decode the message, the addressee must know the context, and then or the addresser who sends the message, yeah, must know all those things, you see. And we can say that a successful communicative act happens only, or takes place only, when we take into account all those elements. And actually in all other lectures, you see, of our course, other professors will speak about different elements of communication, you see. And when we speak about intercultural communication, okay, we speak about cultures or representatives of cultures, yeah, in terms of kind of those two men, two persons on the picture, a man and a woman. Yeah, maybe you have questions about this, this scheme, about this this picture. Some comments, please.
No
okay.
comments.
No comments. Yeah, you I hope, Alina, you know this picture. You know, it's a very old scene. Okay, let's continue, and let us try to define the intercultural communication. So now we take the brackets, yeah, off, and here we have different pictures. Okay, I would like you to speak about the pictures. What kinds of cultures, what sort of cultures do you see in the pictures? Intercultural, different cultures, okay? Let's take a look at the first picture. Okay.
I see Roman raised his hand. Roman, please.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. If we speak about the message on the left, which has kind of white people, if it's okay to say so, we can say from the first look if their culture is same or different, but they share their opinions, they discuss something, they have their point, and in the the mass of these messages, there is a common idea created.
Mm-hmm. What, in your opinion, what kind of culture do they represent? Are they male or female?
We can't say for sure.
But for me, they look like more male.
They look like more male, yeah, I think. I'm not sure, though. The picture's main idea was to show us exactly what culture representatives they are, and yeah, if they are male or female, the main idea is something in between.
In your opinion, do they belong to the same culture or to different cultures?
I think if I had the selection of two, I would say they belong to the same culture, since the image shows us them rather similar.
Because you see, they have more or less design of of their faces. Okay, let's go to the next picture, which is on my right side. You see this red face and the blue face, and something.
Olena.
Okay,
I've
good.
seen Olena Ponomarenko, I think, or Olga Ponomarenko hand. And then,
yeah, I'd like to say that as for me, the colorful speech bubbles and varied head shapes suggest different languages or language styles, indicating multilingual communication here.
If we speak about contact, in the first picture, we definitely know that this contact is really taking place. But what about the other picture? What about the contact? Is it happening or is it not happening? And do these two persons, do they belong to the same culture or to different cultures?
I think that the other pictures represent ethnic and racial diversity, yeah? The wide range of colors and silhouettes in the lower right image represents people of different ethnic background and races. This is the core aspect of ethnic and racial cultures.
Do they hear each other, or maybe they have some problem in?
They have some problems with communication, I think.
Why do you think so? Because their faces are looking into different directions.
Yeah, exactly.
You see, this is a good example of coding. Yeah, the process of communication here is represented in some code. First, we have visual images. We don't have any verbal descriptions which can help us, you see. And then, but we have some ideas about how communication is constructed, you see. If people look or use face-to-face control, we can say, okay, the communication is taking place, but if they look into different directions, we say, okay, maybe they're having some trouble. Okay, many. Okay.
Olena also raised her hand, but now I cannot see her. Maybe she can also add her comment.
Please, and we can go to the third picture. Okay, Olena, go ahead.
Olena,
Olga generally talk about the same ideas that I have, and from the picture, it was, at least for me, it was clear that they have some troubles with communication. Maybe one of them, each of them tries to report and give some code of information, but they do not clearly decode the information, and therefore they cannot understand each other. So there might be the problem. Different backgrounds make the communication much harder to understand, as we might say one thing, but we might interpret it as a different one.
Yeah, it's interesting. But by the way, this picture does not provoke any negative emotions, because it's you know, the combination of colors. Of course, they are different in opinions, but maybe they're not quarreling. What about the third picture?
Is it a question for me? Yeah.
Yeah, for you and for other students, but I will appreciate it very much if you start answering. Okay.
Okay. Thank you for the question. Here we see a lot of people communicating at the same time, so we might think that it's some kind of open society that stimulates the intercultural communication, but we don't see any signs like of this small clouds that represents the words being said. So maybe for people here in this picture, it's quite hard to express themselves. Maybe they are not quite heard and understood here. It's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, of course, but because you see, again, we always produce some culturally determined interpretations of what we see, because we depend on many cultural factors. You see, maybe some other ideas. In your opinion, I mean, the opinion of all students, which of these three pictures can serve as the best illustration of intercultural communication?
You can also use chat and I will read your comments for those who cannot speak.
We have three pictures. And if you were to choose one picture to provide the best illustration of intercultural communication, which one?
Elena?
Okay, Elena?
I suppose it's the first one, because people here are willing to communicate and they try to find a common idea behind their messages. So they're quite to achieve the main goal of communication, to get their message decoded and understood.
Excellent. This is interesting, because you look at communication as something cooperative. Yeah, it's cooperation. It's producing common senses. If we do not produce common senses, it's not communication. Okay, other ideas?
Roman and then Olga.
I can't agree with my colleague, though it seems every picture lacks something. The first picture lacks the intercultural part, the second picture lacks the decoding part, and the third picture lacks the communication in general. So we cannot really say if any of them defines completely the international communication.
Excellent. Good by the way, you see, I am a very tolerant professor. I like all your answers if you explain your viewpoint. You see how complex the intercultural communication is. But you see, we have here communication of individuals. You know, it's a group. We have a lady and maybe man communication, two individuals, and we have many people and maybe many races, and I would agree that these three pictures can be used as, you know, as good illustration. Okay.
I wonder how can it be interpreted from the perspective of other cultures. For example, if we talk about more closed cultures as Japanese culture, they can actually say that the first image is not a communication, it's very rude dispute exchange, because everybody speaks at the same time. So it
how
might
do
be
you know
also
this? You see, if you look at
because all the mouths,
Okay,
but all the mouths are open, so they speak at the same time. So maybe
at
they
the
are not
same
communicating.
time,
So it might be also interesting to see it from different perspectives.
It's not communication because they produce noise. Yeah, noise. You see, that's something. Yeah, but okay.
Can we give words to Volodymyr because he cannot use the function of raising hand, but he wants to give a short comment about this.
Of
Volodymyr, please.
Of course, we will be happy
Thank
to.
you. Thank you. I think the third one, because we constantly in interaction with other people with different culture, with different background, and we take other people culture and broadcast our own culture to other people.
Interesting. I like the word transmit. Maybe broadcast is maybe using some technical devices like radio or television, but yeah, this is excellent. Okay, let's continue.
One last comment, Olga.
Great. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
Olga?
I'd like to agree with Volodymyr. As for me, the best picture here is picture 3, the third picture, because I think that this crowded and colorful composition can symbolize a global communication space where people of different cultures constantly interact, for example, in workplaces, online, and in social context.
Yeah, this is very good. This is a very good comment. Let's continue. And I have copied here some definitions, some popular definitions. What I did, I just went online and YouTube, and you see, put something like some popular definitions of intercultural communication. What I would like you to do is to think about the definitions and to say if the definition is good, valid, is it functional, and we can hear the first definition. Intercultural communication refers to the communication between people from 2 different cultures. Please, could you look upon this definition critically and say if it's valid or not valid, if it's good, and what is good and what is bad, and so on?
Maybe other people who haven't commented yet can join the conversation. I invite everybody to use chat function or just raise hand or just unmute yourself and give your comment. I think Olga wants to start.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. To my mind, this definition limits intercultural communication to 2 different cultures, while in reality, communication often involves multiple overlapping cultures.
Good. You see, it speaks about 2 different cultures, but in reality, we have more than 2 practically everywhere. And here, look at the picture. Look at the picture. You see, here we use the word dominant. You see, and then maybe this white, Anglo-Saxon, and the ladies are Asian or something like that, and that means, you see, it limits. You see, good. Between people, the communication is between people. You see, I like the word people, but sometimes I don't like the word people because I prefer individuals. In my opinion, this definition is not good because it uses the trick of generalization. Individuals disappear, because you see, we do not see here the individual level, because intercultural communication is not only about people who represent cultures, it's also about individuals who represent individual cultures, you see? Okay, let's go to the next slide and do the same thing here. Intercultural communication is a symbolic, interpretive, transactional, contextual process in which okay, I cannot read this from different
process in which people from different cultures create shared meanings,
and the effects on communication behavior when different cultures interact together. What is the difference between the first and the previous and this definition on this slide? Huh? Alina, maybe you can help us?
I can try, but so I think, yeah, Olena can try then. Let's
Okay,
give word to
good.
students.
We will, of course, Olena, go ahead.
Olena?
Sorry for interrupting you. Thank you.
No, you are saving our reputation now, you see, because
students are in priority, so
yeah, you are our
Okay.
priority. Okay.
Okay. In my personal opinion, the first two notions are mostly process oriented, which is much better than the first one because that was very broad. Like it's like for first glance to understand what we're talking about. While here we talk about the process. If it's process, then it has different phases, like stages, and this third one is result oriented. Then it's the effect of the process. It's a result. So maybe it's not. It's very good to mix them together and talk about communication as the process and as the result of communication. Maybe it will be much more. It will affect into a much more refined notion.
Excellent. Thank you very much. But here, developing this process-oriented approach, maybe Olena, you can help us.
Sorry, can we give word to Volodymyr? He raised his hand in chat.
Good.
Volodymyr?
Good.
Thank you.
Alina, you are an excellent moderator. Okay, Volodymyr, go ahead. Okay.
Thank you. I think these are components of one definition of communication, all of these three notions.
Which three notions, please? Be more specific.
A symbolic, interpretative, transactional, contextual process in which people from different cultures create shared meanings, and effects of communication behavior when different cultures interact together.
But let us think, okay, the first symbolic, interpretive, transactional, contextual process. I think the first definition is so focuses on the process. The second, process in which is something produced. The process produces shared meanings. That means we understand each other, we start sharing meanings, you see. And the third moment is, I think, the focus on the process of on the interaction together, working together. You see, that is something which develops one of the ideas which has already been articulated in our discussion. You see, communication is always about producing something, is always about coming to mutual understanding. It's about dialogue. You see, I'm very much fond of the idea of dialogic imagination. You see, that means we're working together. And for me, communication, intercultural communication, is a value itself. You see, because it's one of these things which is very much threatened in contemporary life, because you see what we can see now in the contemporary world. It's not communication. It's an an attempt to impose some values or some ideas or some strange things in the process of manipulation, but not communication, because communication is about dialogue, you see, and producing something together and understanding. That means interpretive. Interpretive means active involvement of those who communicate. You see, transactional, this idea we all become some difficulties. You see, it is contextual, so on. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, another definition: intercultural communication unfolds in symbolic intercultural spaces. I like this because every definition introduces new concepts to, and then moments, and be affected by cultural differences. Again, you see the idea of cultural differences as something that we not only respect, but we also have to encourage people who are involved in intercultural communication. We have to encourage them to develop, to demonstrate, to show their cultural differences. But we expect them to do the same thing as far as we are concerned. Okay, let's go further, because I think we have some other ideas. This slide is empty, and I would like you to suggest your ideas based on your experience, how we can apply intercultural communication in practice. For example, I can start with myself. You see, as a university administrator, I develop and produce many programs of intercultural cooperation, and I use my communicative skills, international communicative skills, international communication skills, you see, in order to create new products and new projects with my partners, in other countries. Okay, please, could you provide us your examples of intercultural communication?
Stepan?
Okay, Stepan, go ahead.
I had an experience to go to school in another country with in Netherlands with Dutch people, and every day it was like intercultural communication, because I was like from whole another planet for them.
Yeah, interesting. How long did you so how much time did you spend in this Dutch school?
It was a year, sounds like a year. Yeah,
It was,
and now
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Tell.
Yeah, and now like every day, like work here as well, because now I'm staying here. Yeah, work here. Like I had also experience because first year I lived with Dutch family,
They they gave us a home, and we had some dinners together. We were speaking about like culture, what we do in Ukraine, we had as well together Christmas. And it was interesting because it's like they celebrated like in whole another way. If we have like big table with foods, a lot of family, but they just like some wine, and that's it, and they going to sleep.
Could you give us some recommendations for our class based on your experience of intercultural communication? For example, some practical advice?
Oh, I don't know. You should just be, open. You should just speak with them, present your culture, and as well you should be like ask them about you should interact with them and like try to understand this difference and with your culture.
Good. For example, my recommendation is if you get into a new intercultural environment, first listen and then say.
I agree 100%.
Okay, good. Other ideas about?
There were two hands raised, Olga and then Olena.
Oh, thank you. The first experience which came to my mind is, for example, I travel to different countries and interact with locals. When I visit a new country, I always try to communicate with locals, whether it's asking for directions, shopping at markets, or simply having a conversation in a cafe. And these interactions often teach me a lot about how people live, what they value, and how they express politeness or disagreements for them.
What countries have you been to?
Oh, I've been to different countries in Europe. It's Germany, Spain, Italy, and a lot of other countries, Poland, Hungary. I've been to approximately 15 countries.
What was the most difficult country for you in terms of intercultural communication?
The most difficult for me is Germany. I can't explain why, but it's difficult with me to speak with German people, to understand them and to interact with them. I even can't explain why.
But it makes sense to look for reasons of those difficulties because, this is what is our course for. You see, okay, interesting. Today I recorded a video blog about play, which is set about Ukrainian refugees and Germans, you see, in the differences between them. And maybe the main difference which I could see in the play was that Germans are very presented as very rational. You see, it's a stereotype. They like order or something like that, and Ukrainians are too emotional. You see, that's one of the stereotypes. Okay, other ideas, please. Other students.
Yes, there was
please.
Also Olena and then Volodymyr.
Okay, Lena and then Volodymyr.
During my PhD journey, I had the opportunity to use academic mobility, and I was a part of research with other researchers. So that was a very interesting experience, as we sometimes it's obvious that researchers have the same approach, but the approach really differs from cultural perspective. We can see the things from the other completely different perspectives. We approach to the task and we start to think about it and we start to think about the result in different perspectives. So it was a very interesting experience. And by the way, if to talk about ordinary experience, it's maybe, yeah, the differences between each culture can become even crucial. Like, I can agree with Olga that German people are quite interesting to observe, but sometimes they're quite hard to communicate. I've had such experience of communication, and I could say that they were very rule oriented, like rule is everything. While if when I was like interacting with other cultures, there were more freedom to like to communicate. You don't need to be restricted by the rules. So that was clear for me that two cultures was completely different.
Okay, what is the area of your PhD research?
It's about e-commerce enterprises.
So that means that intercultural communication is extremely important for your success, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. Like talking about my research, about the results of research is crucial for me, yeah.
Great. We have another voice, yeah? Volodymyr?
And the last one was Volodymyr, yes.
Yes, I studied for a year and a half in Israel in 2017, and I am not a Jewish, and it was hard for me for first 2 months because kosher food. Sunday is Monday, Middle East, and so on.
And do you speak Hebrew?
No.
This is interesting. Okay, so Alina, how many students do we have in our class today?
It's about 20.
19, including you and me. Okay, 17.
Somebody left.
Yes, yeah. I hope that all students, already have gained some experience, say, of intercultural communication, and can say that as a professor, I'm lucky to talk to students with rich experiences of intercultural communication. Let's try to go
I
further.
can play a bad policeman and ask all the students who are present to write one example in the chat about their experience of intercultural communication. And in this way, I will know who listened to us, but still is silent or shy, or somebody is just connected and somewhere else.
And
so
sleeping.
Those who are online,
and sleeping or eating.
Yes, those who are online, please write one example in the chat. And we have also Vadim and Roman. You want to give your examples?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to share my example of international communication, but it's not so impressive as in previous speakers. But anyway, I had experience with communication with a German guy in Kiev. He, as I remember, lost his way, and we started communication. Also, we had a small talk about Ukraine, Germany, and so on. So that's all.
Interesting.
Thank you.
And one more voice.
Yeah, Roman.
Oh yeah. So I don't repeat situations that were described before by my colleagues. To say something unique but real, I had kind of experience of international communication while defending my scientific work 2 years ago. The competition was international, and we had the participants from more than 10 European countries, and we listened to their works, what they had to present, and we also had with the two, if I'm not mistaken, works from our exact university there, and it was pretty interesting to listen to them and also share our own ideas.
Great, thank you. Let's try to go to the next slide. And we have something, my example of intercultural communication. Lina, could you read the chat?
Yeah, these are
messages?
examples that I asked. People are given some examples of intercultural communication. I will take note from the chat and then maybe
Do you
put
have
some more.
anything interesting?
Sorry,
Yeah, somebody wanted to jump in.
Sorry, I remember one situation about intercultural communication when I
You disappeared. The voice disappeared. Something wrong with me or Alina?
No, I also lost the person. Maybe he was disconnected.
You know what? We are approaching the end of our class. You see, we have something like 6 minutes. And to end the class, I would like you to produce your own definitions of intercultural communication. Could you try? Because I have to
Olga
understand
wants to try.
whether my class was sufficient. Okay, Olga, go ahead.
Okay, I will try. To my mind, intercultural communication is the dynamic process of exchanging ideas, information, and emotions between individuals from different cultural backgrounds, for example. I don't know if this if it is correct definition.
It's correct, but maybe it's not a full definition, you see, because actually we will speak about it. You will provide your own definition after the course. We're at the beginning of the process. It's okay. Okay, other ideas, other definitions.
Volodymyr and then Olena.
Okay, Volodymyr and then Olena.
Thank you. I think it's two-way or maybe bilateral process of decoding the meaning, not only the words, but also of context, background, and then relate these meanings to peculiarities of culture, of perception of other people, and coordination with your own culture or your own views.
Good. Other ideas?
Olena?
Yeah, I suppose that intercultural communication is a process and is the result of exchange of information between individuals from different cultural backgrounds. So that's how I see it at this point.
Excellent.
One more, Alexander.
Okay,
Vadim also
good.
wants to comment.
Good. Go ahead.
Yeah. To my mind, intercultural communication, first of all, refers to the interaction between people from diverse cultures, where understanding and adapting to different culture norms, communication styles, is essential for effective exchange and mutual respect.
Very interesting. We have come to the end of our class, and we will send you this presentation because it has some more slides and some recommendations and other things and so on and so forth. And maybe Alina can tell us a few words or can tell the students of what they are supposed to do.
Yes, maybe
but maybe
at this
moment we can stop recording.
Yes.